it's Brookie from Verdi, and in this video we're going to go through our asset assessment feature. You'd use this feature if you wanted to review your asset images, to log faults, identify issues, and to produce an actionable report. The first step in our asset assessment is to set up an assessment type. This is essentially a register that you can create with categories to manage the faults and areas of interest that are relevant to you. You can see we have a couple of template ones. You can select one of those or create your own. And then each element, there's a category and then subcategories of each. So for example, in construction, if I was interested in the framework in my asset assessment, I might break that down further into different types of framework, and then perhaps what is specifically wrong with that framework. To create your own asset assessment, click New Assessment Type and give it a name. So I'm going to do a roof assessment. And then I can create a new category by clicking Add New. Rooftop material. And then from here, the subcategories are going to be, let's go tile, let's go steel, brick. And then it might be that the tile has growth or is loose or is broken. So you could go through and do this for all the primary elements that you're most interested in your asset assessment. The next thing is to look at the assessment severity. We have some default options here which you can use in your assessment. You can also customize these to suit your requirements. Let's go fire. You can change the colors of your severity ratings, you can delete them, or you can add as well. And when that's all done, you're ready to start your asset assessment. I'm going to jump into a mission. Click Reports, and then click to get started. So I can go ahead and assess all of the images that I have in my mission, or I can use the filters to narrow that down further. I'm going to give it an assessment name, and then I'm going to select an assessment type. Now this is what we created earlier, and I'm going to use the template because that's a little bit more complete. And then I'm going to assess all of the images. There are two different views I can look at. There's this single image view, or I can look at a grid view. This one's a little bit easier to scroll through the data initially. So I've got all of my images that I can scroll through, and now let's say there's something I can see in this image that I want to define an area of interest. I'm going to zoom in. Now let's pretend that this chimney is broken. I'm going to use the polygon tool, and I'm going to define the area of interest. Now these you'll recognize from the assessment type that we set up earlier. So I'm going to say it's a rooftop structure, it's a chimney, and let's say for the purposes of this that it is loose. I can hit continue, and then I can give it a severity level. Let's say it's high. And then the recommended action might be maintenance team to fix. And then we might say chimney is on building 10 campus. And it's given it yellow because that is the severity that we set to be that color. I can then continue on through my assessment, and perhaps this is another image of that same area of interest that I also want to mark. We can do that as well. So I'm going to zoom in. So let's say this is the same chimney but a different image of it that I also want to mark up. I can select from existing. So this is the same chimney. I'm going to select that. I can add additional comments, or I can keep these same ones. And now both of these images have been marked up. If I want to define a new area of interest on another image, I can do that as well by going through that same process. And I'm just going to do this so I can show you in the report. So let's just say it's the same. Let's say it's cracked this time. Going to say this one is medium just for something different. And then once we've finished reviewing all the relevant images, you can hit View Summary, and you can see these are the two chimneys that we marked up, or the two areas of interest that we logged. And now I'm ready to generate the report. Give it a name, hit Confirm. And now that report is going to be emailed to you. So I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you what that report looks like. So you can see I've just received this email telling me that the assessment report is ready to download. And here is the report in PDF form that we've just created with all the information from our asset assessment. Obviously, if you did this properly, yours will be full of information, whereas mine only has 2 areas of interest logged, just for the purposes of this demo. So that's the basics of the asset assessment feature. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at support@birdie.io or send us an in-platform chat message and we'll reply as soon as possible.